How to network in your 20s. This is something that I'm going to tell you because I just graduated from my 20s into my 30s, and I'm going to give you the tips that got me around the biggest people in the world. You're like, Sam, who'd you get around? Well, the famous people that a lot of people know, Owen Cook, you got Ty Lopez, you got Grant Cardone, you got people from back in 2015 to people that people know me from, connecting with Justin Waller, Sterling Cooper, all of the people in Twitter. How did I do it? I'm going to break it down for you. And a lot of it is the very first principle. Value. How important are you in the world? If you want to network with important people, you have to understand and you have to think like them. That's the first thing. Now, you might not have the intellectual understanding of what these people's lives are like. So let me break it down to you. If you have a very successful person or someone that is a content creator online, someone that's important in the world, their time is used differently to your time. Their time is very structured, very rigid, because they've got a lot of things to, do in their life. Let's take Jeff Bezos. Now, Jeff Bezos does have some time. You've seen him hanging around Miami, but what do you think his time consists of? His time consists of either hanging out with his new girlfriend, working on Amazon, or working on maximizing his money return or maximizing the projections of Amazon. Being able to, help the shareholder succeed, help him succeed, help the company succeed, help the world. Same as Elon. Elon's got 5 companies. It's crazy. So now you understand that their lives are broken up into working, recovery, as well as any sort of side hobbies they might have. So that gives you 3 ways that you're able to understand their lives better. For me, when I first connected with Owen, I knew that his life consisted of work, consisted of attraction with women and building a self-development company, as well as his side hobbies that I knew he was into fashion, I knew he was into all these other things, and just social dynamics in general. So I knew these things. So the first step is you have to understand their lifestyle. Then how do I add value to their lives? So there's 2 different ways you can do this. When we look at this, we go, okay, what is value? First of all, someone might value money, someone might value beauty, someone might value something else, a nice car. When I look at these people's lives, I look at what they value and go, okay, well, if this person is valuable and they value this, how can I help them with that? Pretty much, how can I help them with that? How can I make it easier for them to get that? How can I make them get more of it? So for me, especially, someone might come up to me and say, Sam, you've got everything. How do I give value to you? And someone might go, okay, well, let me get Sam girls. Sam already has girls. Sam doesn't need girls. But Sam needs more business experts. Sam needs more email guys. Sam needs something else. So what you'll find is when you're giving value to people, you identify their life, you identify, okay, how can I give value to these people? The way that you do that is by solving a problem that they're not known for. If I went to Ty Lopez and said, oh, how do I help Ty? Oh, you know what? I will give him more money. I'll give him more business. He's already got that. But Ty might be working on something else, like his social media campaign. He might be working on his dating product that he did. He might be working on developing a Myers-Briggs test. This is what you can do when you research these people. So that's number 1. Number 1, finding all these valuable people and go, how can I freaking help them? How can I help them? We call that solving their PDE, their primary driver emotion. I did this with a client and we wanted to connect with Grant Cardone. And we were like, damn, how Grant Cardone, man, he's got everything. He got everything. How can we help Grant Cardone? We looked into it further and further and further. He's got the money, he's got the kids, he's got the family. Then we had a look and we went, shit, Grant Cardone's old, he's like 67. He's doing pretty well for 67. And then we realized, oh shit, if you went to Grant Cardone with biohacking and getting more energy out of life, that's what he's interested in, because he's 67 years old, competing with 30-year-old guys and absolutely lapping them. So we knew that a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these high-level influencers and high-level people, millionaires, they're known for one thing, but if you can solve a lot of their problems with another thing they're not known for, you will get that connection. Take The Rock. The Rock is known for WWE. If you went up to The Rock and started talking WWE, he would be known for that. He is someone that everyone talks to him about that. But when he was starting his tequila brand, he didn't have the great reputation the tequila brand is actually failing in the start. So if you actually went up to The Rock and started talking to him how he can make that better, he would want to be around you because his ego is involved in that and it's not as well established, it's not as well accepted as the WWE persona. So he would want to be able to, tell me more, how do we get that? He's got that ego there. He's still trying to prove himself with the tequila. Obviously, it's been a major success. So that's number one. Number two, the second way that you're going to network in your 20s is by becoming valuable yourself. Most people, what they try to do, there's a massive disparity. There's the rich entrepreneur, the cool guy, the celebrity, and you're down here and you're like, how do I get there? How do I get there? Please tell me. And so there's a massive value discrepancy. By solving their primary driver emotion, or something that they want to improve in their life, you can become equals. But you'll never have the connection of being boys and homeboys unless you yourself are valuable. So what does that mean? Well, there's a couple of different ways you can add value to the world and become important. One thing that you can connect with, that I see a lot of entrepreneurs come into social life mentoring, and I know they have a skill, and so I said that's how you're going to network, with that skill. So if you become a guy that is very skill orientated, you know a lot of things, you can help a lot of people. We have a lot of guys in SLM, and they're either copywriters or they're entrepreneurs, or they have this skill. Maybe they're email guys, maybe they're SaaS guys, maybe they're, they've got something going on. And I say to you, every time you meet someone, offer your services to these people, and what you'll find is that at a big level, networking happens through businesses. That's what really happens. Because think about a very well-established rich guy. He doesn't have time to have just friends that maybe are 9 to 5. Because what the do they relate on? Yeah, Joe was such an asshole today at work. Like, he told me my lunch break was 22 minutes longer than it should have been. And you're sitting there making $90,000 a day going, oh, okay, yeah, cool, okay. Well, I had 2 guys sue me today for $500,000. You're not relating on anything. And so this is why these high-level people only hang out with high-level people, because their time is valuable. How they can connect with people is on a commonality basis, and that is through people that have rose the ranks and have similar things happen to them. The guy that went through 2 lawsuits, if he was talking to someone and said, yeah, I'm going through 2 lawsuits, and this guy's, oh shit, really? Here's my lawyer, you should go talk to him. Or it's, oh, I had that 2 years ago. Man, you'll be all right. Everyone's got to go through it. They're the people they're going to connect with, because they're on the same level, they have the same commonalities, the same problems, and they bond through that way. So becoming important could be getting a bunch of followers, becoming well known in your industry for something you do, a skill, having lots of money, and getting around the axis. And that's number 3. So once you have done that, you either solve their PDE, you become important yourself. You either have access to a lot of girls, you have access to a lot of money, you have your setup, your lifestyle, you're able to invite these people to the places you're going to. Whatever it is, comes down to the third thing, is you got to have access to these people. And this is where setting up your lifestyle is very important. This whole idea of networking in your 20s is your value is not going to be there. And so you have to really push it and really be able to add to people's lives. The number one thing that you have that you can add to any other person that you're looking up to, that you want to network with, that you want to connect with, is you have energy. All of these guys that are in their 30s, they want to be around people that are younger so they can have that hustle, that fire in their belly, the ignition to go at it. They've lost that over the years. And so someone that's a 20, this is what Owen did with me. He wanted to bring me on board because I was 21 at the time. And when I was 21, I was hungry. I was so fire in my belly. I wanted to get after it. So I was like, come on, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. I was just hungry. And so now, when Owen was 35, he wanted someone like that around me. Now I'm getting towards his age. I'm noticing, I'm like, oh, I'm slowing down a little bit, becoming a bit strategic. I want to be surrounded by people, 21, 22, 23, that have that energy, that unbounding, like, let's do everything yesterday, that just infinite, touching no walls energy. They're just going to go for everything. And you want that around you. You are the byproduct of the people you have around you. So you can imagine even just the idea of that. These rich people want people that are helping their lives, not taking away from their lives. So, he can't relate with Chad that's working the 9 to 5 because Chad's bitching about his boss. It takes away from his energy. So that's why he doesn't relate. But that third thing, you got to have access. So here's a little screenshot. These are some things that people, rich people, and you can network with people. Here's about 45 different things that you can look at where you can be like, okay, well, if I add these to my life, let's say, there's things like polo, there's things like gambling in the casino, there's things like gym memberships, saunas, spas, recovery centers. These are the things that if you can add them to your life and you have the ability to just strike up a conversation. Hey, how's it going? Or you see something that they're wearing. I love your day date. It's a beautiful watch. Or I love your shoes, the Laura Pianos, they're amazing. I'm getting some next week. Something like that you can just start an initial conversation with, which goes into point 4. Something you can start with is really, really beneficial. You're able to have that one line that you just say that draws them back in, and then you might come up with a second line. Oh, I noticed your car out there, man, you know, you're living the life. You boost their ego a little bit. This is what I do with these networks. Just boost their ego. I make them feel good. Because again, I have an abundance of energy, and if I make them feel good, they're gonna love you. People, if you make people feel good, they're gonna wanna be around you. Listen to that. If you make people feel good, they're gonna wanna be around you. Go into number 4, if you're seen around these places a lot, you see them here, you see them there, you're listening to familiar face theory, people are more comfortable with people they see in the environment all of the time. So if you're around all these high level places, you picked a few places from the sheet that I just gave you, and you start going to there, you start interacting with these people, what you'll find is that eventually they will start to question, and you'll go back and forth, and you'll create this back and forth dialogue, and you'll be able to build some commonalities. The 4th point, which is more important, is not only eliciting the familiar face theory with these people, going to the right places, knowing a little about a lot. Knowing a little about a lot. I know a little bit about Rolexes, I know a little bit about chess, I know a little bit about taxes, I know a little bit about lawyers. Because when I'm dealing with high level people, I want to be able to talk the language that they're talking. I'm going to the places they're going to, I'm talking the language they're talking to. I might not have all the value, but here's what they do. High level people also like people that are on the rise. They like the hunger. They want to be around the people that are succeeding and elevating. They might not be there yet, and that's okay. But they like to see when someone's on the ascent, not only status-wise, money-wise, influence-wise, it might be their lifestyle in general is ascending. People like to be around that as well. So you're kind of this prodigy, and they might take you under their wing. And that's what you really want eventually, is these high level guys, if they take you under their wing and they're helping you out, take everything they say as I'm gonna execute 100% on it. One of the greatest ways that I did this was whenever a high level guy would give me a bit of information, do this, do this, do this, I'd write it down and I'd execute upon it. And as soon as I'd execute upon it, I would come back to them, hey Johnny, remember the other day you talked to me about such and such, such and such, such and such? Well, I implemented those, and here's the result. You will be 100% surprised by their reaction, that I took their word as very valuable, because sometimes not even their wife does that. And so when I've taken their word as valuable, I've made them feel good, I've made them feel important. And as I said before, if you make them feel good, make them feel important, they'll want to do it, keep doing it. And so you might want this mentor-mentee relationship, and you'll find that if you start to do this, you will be around a lot of people. So if you incorporate those 5 to 6 principles that I just said, networking in your 20s will be a cinch. It'll be so easy. This all takes a little bit of money, so you want to be able to build up your finances. It's a really good thing to be able to build up your finances, because in today's day and age, you can be doing it with $1, $2, $3. You could try, but you're going to be hitting a lot of roadblocks. So you want to be able to at least have some sort of income that you can be able to leverage it into activities that help you and network you with the right people. So Sam here, checking out. And look, if you want some help, if you want to fast track this, you want to be around a like-minded guys that are also doing this, all you got to do is click the link below, and you can book a call in with me and my team, and we'll go through your system. Maybe you're in this country, maybe you're in that country. We can go through, build out a plan for you, your social system. You can execute upon that, and you can get not only the girls that you want, because that's very important to have, but also the high status guys, the millionaires, the guys that you really want to connect with, this mentor-mentee relationship. You get there, life becomes easier, life becomes a cinch, and then everyone, because you become important, wants to be your friend and wants to get with you and wants to be part of your life. So it's Sam here, check it out. I'll see you in the next video.